Hey everyone, I'm just going to go through a quick slideshow welcoming you to quarter two. There are a couple changes to be aware of, a couple reminders just moving forward, and then just some norms to talk about. So first, I just have a couple shout outs and successes from quarter one. First off, so many of you made huge improvements to your grade at the end of the quarter. Obviously, we want to be continuing to try to get stuff in on time, but despite that, like when we are falling behind, it can be really intimidating. It can be really overwhelming to try and get caught up. So I just wanted to take a minute to celebrate you because there were so many of you who brought your grades from somewhere very low to somewhere much higher, including those of you who brought grades up at least a full grade letter, which is a huge accomplishment. So awesome job. And then there are others of you who have been rocking it the whole time, doing an awesome job keeping up with work, assignments, and content. This is all a huge accomplishment in remote learning and hard to manage. So be proud of yourselves for that as well. And then everyone in all of my classes really has done a great job being respectful with one another. We've talked about some really sensitive things. And I've seen a lot of respect and empathy coming from you guys to each other, and that's been really wonderful. A lot of you have also done a fabulous job advocating for yourselves by reaching out to me, telling me kind of where you're at with school, what you need, things like that. And that has been really helpful for me to see as well. And stepping out of your comfort zones, sometimes to try things that are challenging or out of the norm, is also something to be proud of yourselves for. So nice job, everyone. It was a great first quarter, despite how weird everything's been. So just take a minute to feel good about yourselves. So starting for second quarter, school-wide Wednesdays will be support days. What that means is you will not be getting new lessons or assignments on Wednesdays. You're going to have time in class to either meet with teachers or catch up on work. And it may look a little different from class to class, but it is something that is happening throughout the whole school. You still need to sign into your meetings on those days to get instructions about what we'll be doing and to get help if you need it. So it's not like a free day that you can just do whatever you guys need to, but it is a day that you are still signing on to the meet and then taking time to get caught up in class. And then additionally in biology, so this is just for our class, what I'm going to try and do for the most part, and this may not be an every week thing, but I'm going to try and make it so Fridays are mostly independent time. There will still be weekly quizzes, and you'll still need to sign into the meet at the beginning, but then we'll try and spend most of our class off the meet working independently on assignments. That may be catching up on assignments, or it may be at the beginning of class Friday, I give you the day's assignment, and then you sign off and work on it. So those are just some changes to look out for. All right, in terms of quarter one assignments, there are a few things that I will still accept. Other things can no longer be turned in from quarter one. The things I will still accept are your Unit 0 summative. You can turn that in up until next Friday. After that, I am not taking it anymore. So if you still have a 0 for that, if it's missing, again, that's still a huge impact on your grade and you want to get that in. So you have until, that would be Friday the 20th would be the very, very last day to turn that in. Same goes for the Unit 1 SFA 1. That was not on your report card yet. I will have those graded soon. Those grades were not on your report card, but that needs to get in 2 full school weeks from now as well. So again, Friday the 20th. The other things I'm still accepting are COVID-19 transmission model. You can turn that in until this Friday. The Ed Puzzle and the the COVID-19 model and the Ed Puzzle are the other 2 things that you can turn in, but they have to be done by the end of this week. Note, those were not in as missing on your report card. So I will be changing those from incompletes to missing. So that may show up as a 0 in the next couple of days. And it needs to get turned in by this Friday. The quarter one catch up was the other thing that we did last week that was pretty recent. But if that's missing, it's not really worth your time to go back and finish. So I'm just going to leave that as an incomplete rather than a missing. So if you didn't do that, don't worry about going back now because it wouldn't help you anymore. And then anything else from quarter one is no longer being accepted. These are the only things from quarter one that I'm still taking. Okay, and then moving forward for quarter two, there are a couple of changes to note. So first, if you are missing a summative, it will count as half credit, and we'll be offering retakes for your summatives. We'll talk more about what retakes will look like when the time comes, because I don't want to bombard you with the information now, but once we get there, we'll talk more about what that looks like. Same with SFAs, retakes will be offered and it'll count as half credit if it's missing in Aspen. So that means you won't see it as a missing assignment, you'll see it as a half credit assignment. And then the other things are, so for anything for your participation grade, so bell work, exit slips, and classworks marked with a P, I am no longer taking those late. There are a couple reasons for this. One, it's meant to gauge your participation, so it doesn't really make sense to take it late. If you're turning it in late, that doesn't really tell me about whether you were participating in class. And the other reason, just for transparency, is it's very hard for me to go back because I have to calculate that out of using the rubric. So it's really hard to go back and grade all of those. So the other thing I'm going to do to kind of counteract, in case you're having missings and I don't want it to hurt your grade too bad. So instead of being out of 0 to 3 points, it'll be from 1.5 to 3 points. So effectively, it'll also be in as half credit if it's missing, but then you can't make it up on that one. So that's for your 3-point participation grade that you get each week. So once those grades are in, basically at the end of the week, I put them in once a week. And once they're in, they stay there. They stay what they are. And then as far as your other class assignments, there are no changes there. It's missing if it's missing, which means it counts as a 0. But you can still try and make it up later. All right, so for your participation grade, because I scaled this to now be out of 1.5 to 3 points. So it's very similar. If you have most of your assignments turned in between 75 and 100%, you'll get full points. If you have more than half turned in, you'll get 2.5 points. If you have half or less, you'll get 2 points. And if you have less than that, somewhere between 0 and a quarter of the assignments, then you'll get 1.5 points. So that's kind of the percentage of stuff you have turned in from your bell works, your exit slips, and anything marked with a P. Just a reminder, daily agenda is still always up in Classroom. Reminder about what it's used for. It's to look here if you miss a day, so you can find any of the day's work. You can still be making those participation grades up by the end of the day. So if you missed bell work in class, you came in late, you can go back and make that up still. You just can't make it up like a week later. If you forgot what the homework was, if you need to finish classwork but don't know where to find it. So these are all things that you might be using the daily agenda for. To find it, remember you open the daily agenda. It's in Google Classroom right at the top and in Unit 2 materials. And you just open it and scroll down to the page that we're on. And then another reminder, at the end of each week, I post the weekly wrap-up, which has all of the links for the whole week. I would check this every single week to make sure you haven't missed anything. I would check this anytime you miss a day of school to quickly see what did we do that day. And to get here, you open the daily agenda and scroll down past this week's dates and just see it at the end of the week. Reminder that I have office hours on Wednesdays. This week only, office hours will actually be on Thursday during third period. But in general, it's every Wednesday during third period. There is a link on this slideshow that I've posted to you that you can use to see whether you can join office hours. If it says 1 out of 1 for that assignment, it means I have your consent form the way I needed it, so you can join. If it's a 0 out of 1, then you are not able to join. And you can still turn in that consent form anytime so that you can join office hours. If you click on that link and it doesn't work, it means you have not joined that class yet, and you can join using the code that's posted on this slide. How do I join office hours? It would be just the way you join this Google Meet. You go to Classroom. The the office hours classroom, and you click on the link to join the meet at the top. Why might you want to join? If you have any questions about class, about your grade, about content and assignment, or just anything else you're wondering that you want to talk about. If you have something you want to talk about one-on-one, then you would need to schedule a separate one-on-one meeting because you may or may not be the only person in office hours. So you could try and talk to me there, but then if there are other people and you don't want to talk about it, you could always schedule a one-on-one. I would, again, just need the consent form to do that. All right, and that is the end of this slideshow. So that's all I have. These are, remember, just kind of helpful things for you to know moving into quarter two. All right, I'll see you guys in class.